Yes, I have been talking about genesis and impact of LPZ. So the question arises, what is the meaning of genesis? You might have heard about this word. If not, let me talk. Genesis means it is the introduction, it is the arrival, how this subject has been introduced, how this concept has introduced, how this LPZ concept has emerged. That's what genesis is. So how this concept has emerged? In the year 1991, the Prime Minister of India at that time was P.V. Narasimha Rao, and the Finance Minister at that time was Dr. Manmohan Singh. In the year 1991, India has faced a severe economic crisis. That time, Gulf War was taking place, and in India, we was having very high inflation, and global economy was collapsed. Due to all this scenario, Indian economy has drastically affected. To come out of this situation, to bring out from this situation, this concept has introduced. India was in an old economic stage, so we wanted to take that economy to the modern economy. So that is why this concept has introduced. In the year 1991, new economic policy has introduced. We call it as LPZ, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. What is the first terminology? What is the meaning of liberalization? You might have heard about this word, liberalization. Liberal means giving freedom. To whom are they going to give the freedom? It is a freedom given to the entrepreneurs to start of their choice of business, and they can make profit out of it. So liberalization is nothing but removing the unnecessary restrictions and controls on the business. Through this liberalization, the entrepreneurs are given a lot of freedom to start their choice of business, and they can make profit. That's what liberalization is. In simple words, it is nothing but simplification of rules, regulations, legal aspects related to business. So liberalization is nothing but removing the unnecessary restrictions and controls over the business. That's what liberalization is. So let me talk about privatization. You might have heard about this word for so many times. Privatization means giving a lot of opportunities to the private people, giving more opportunities to the private business players by disinvestment by the government. By disinvestment, the government gives maximum opportunities to the private players. We call it as privatization. Before 1991, hardly there were less number of private banks. After implementation of LPZ, you might be knowing there are foreign banks which are working in India. There are more private banks in India which are working, like ICICI Bank, Federal Bank, HDFC, HSBC. These are all private banks. Before that, there were only government banks which were operating in India. Due to privatization, the government has given a lot of opportunities to the private players to start their businesses, to enter into various sectors. So privatization is nothing but giving more opportunities to the private players by disinvestment from the government. We call it as privatization. Very recently, the government has taken its maximum stake from IDBI, Industrial Development Bank of India, and even in LIC, the government has taken back 5% of its stake. That's what privatization is. The last terminology in LPG is globalization. Globalization is one of the interesting topic. Globalization is nothing but opening up of the economy to the rest of the world economy. We are freeing our economy to the world economy. We are with globalization we can easily export our goods and services to the other country. With the globalization we can easily import goods and services from the other country. Due to LPG, due to globalization, now our Indian companies can operate their businesses into other country. Due to globalization, other countries, MNCs, they can start their businesses in India. That's what LPG is. With this, we'll stop. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you for your patientful hearing.
Apa itu Zaliti?